Hey, what's up, YouTube? Ooh, ooh. Welcome to Play It Painted Live. We are in the middle of yet another late start, so that's just the way it happens. There's a little bit of the crazy working bug going around the household right now. So the wife has decided she wants to do a bunch of errands and crazy things because she's about to start summer vacation. So we went in some kind of a cleaning panic before the housekeeper arrives tomorrow. So that's why we're late starting up. And it's not a bad thing. I mean, cleaning up obviously is a good idea. It's just she forgot about the feed. I still don't. I think she's upstairs in a frenzy right now. I still don't think she understands that this was the night. Not that that should be important. It's just that's what we got going on. So it's not the end of the world, though. We're only starting about 20 minutes late, and we're gonna do a little bit of painting. And tonight we're gonna paint something for fun. You know, we're not gonna not painting anything that is terribly important. I'm going to paint this model. This is from Takahashi University. This is I forget the name of this, Kimi-chan model or something, Kiba-chan. This is the Kiba-chan model. And I don't have her mounted on a base right now. She actually has a pin sticking out the bottom of her foot. And so I'm going to I've got to paint her, but I need to mount her on something such that she can be removed from that something, but she needs to remain fairly stable while I'm painting her. I could try doing something like this and sticking her on the sticky tack. I don't think that's quite gonna suffice. I don't know. Let's see. That work? See, is it going to keep her stable enough for me to paint her? That's not bad. I think I need something a little more stable than this. Well, it's not too bad, actually. As long as if I paint her shoes later, I guess it should be okay. Maybe I'll just shove her shoes down a little bit further. And then when I attach her, what I'm going to attach her to, then maybe she'll be okay. Demon Jester Jay, hey, hello, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. I don't see my my YouTube stream going, the video. Anyway, are you seeing my screen, or is it just you seeing nothing right now? Let's reload that and see if it's good. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so yeah, I'm on screen. Just making sure, because obviously I'm on the. You guys are getting a little bit of a delay from what I'm seeing. So anyway, yeah, I guess we can just try to paint her this way. If it ends up being bad, well, I need to glue her to something, honestly. But I need to glue her to something, but I don't want that to, I don't want her to be difficult to remove from that. Actually, this is actually pretty good. She's on there pretty good. Yeah, as long as I don't worry about painting the feet for now, it should be okay. So anyway, Demon Jester J, let us know what you're painting or what you should be painting right now. Once again, I'm painting Kiba-chan from Takahashi University. And if you want to know what I'm going to be doing with this Kiba-chan, I am going to be painting this model as well, if that's a hint to anybody out there who might be wondering what I'm going to do with the model. So I'm going to be painting that as well. I'm on YouTube. Yes, sir. Well, your comments are on YouTube, so technically, yes, you are on YouTube, sir. All right. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. You can see I painted in the eyes the other night. Let's see if it actually focuses. Not so much. Oh, well, had it for a second there. Okay, so the eyes are in. I'm going to paint the skin. That's obviously the longest part of the miniature, is painting the skin. And we're just going to have some fun. We're going to paint. We're going to see where we end up tonight. Pretty sure, barring any crazy working bugs that my wife wants me to tackle, like go upstairs or anything, clean out the refrigerator or something last minute, I don't think there should be a problem getting the miniature done. I'm just gonna, in fact, I'm gonna pull the camera down and a little bit closer to me, so that we're working a little bit tighter here. Okay, so we're gonna start with just the flesh. This is Vallejo Game Color Deep Skin Tone, and I always start down in this region. So Kiba-chan is kind of like an anime cat girl type of miniature. There's not a lot of detail on this face, and with the early Soda Pop stuff, even some of the newer stuff, they don't sculpt a lot of detail on. A lot of that is because they are anime themed, so they don't, the features on anime miniatures are tend to be pretty smooth and subtle. So you paint in a lot of that. You paint in a lot of the character yourself. I wish there was a little more to this face than this, because, she does actually look pretty Muppet-like the way she's sculpted. But we'll do our best. We'll see what we can get Kiba-chan to look like here. It's fun to be back painting something not chibi, because all throughout May, I've been painting nothing but Super Dungeon Explorer. So even though this is also anime inspired, I should say, it's a little break from the chibi. I've been painting a lot of the chibi, and I can tell this is not going to work because she's starting to fall backwards. So I'm going to have to mount her onto something a little bit better. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick her back on this cork base, even though I'm not painting the cork base. Or what are my other options here? Yeah, I guess I'll stick her on the cork base, and I'm going to just put a tiny little dab of super glue on the unpinned foot. So the one foot has a pin, the other foot doesn't. I'm going to put the glue on the foot that doesn't. And between the pin on one side and the glue on the other side, I might just have enough hold to take care of this miniature. I have to poke a hole back in the... I hate it when your super glue gets old and you end up having to poke holes in to get the glue back out, because it's always such a dicey proposition. You don't know if the glue is like built up pressure back there and it's just going to explode on you, or what. Or in this case, it's still not coming out. No painting tonight. Assembling War Machine 2-player battle box. Okay, so you're putting together that. That's the Kador and Menoth, right? Out of that 2-player battle box, I painted that Kador set from that battle box. I don't know. I want to say 2 years ago or something like that. And yeah, I had fun painting that. The what are those? The big chunky infantry guys, man of war guys, or whatever. So there we go. Fire the tip. Yes, tip is fired, sir. Okay, so I'm gonna let this dry for just a second, and then I'll get back into the painting. So yeah, lots of Super Dungeon Explorer done last month. I showed the kind of presentation of all those miniatures in a video I did a few days ago, and just taking a little break from the May painting stuff. I still have some videos to put together for it, actually. at least 2 in their narrative videos. I'll be honest with you, I have half a mind not to do it because just being completely honest with you, it's not that important. You know, finishing the miniatures and taking part in the challenge, that was important to me. The narrative stuff is for fun. And yeah, I did shoot all of it. I shot it all with, with a camera and whatnot, but I don't want to. Okay. I shot it all, but it's just putting it together and knowing that it's a narrative, and not a whole lot of people care about the narrative that I crafted for my May painting challenge or anything like that. I don't know how urgent it is to put something. If you use fire on the glue tip, it opens the hole. Oh, you mean just like stick a lighter on it? And I've never tried that. I should try that. I did quit smoking though, so I'd have to find a lighter. Okay, so ooh, got a little bit of a gap here with her arms, the way her arms glued up into here. That's odd looking. I don't know that I like that. Well, it looks okay. I'm using this GW brush here to brush the base coat down while the glue dries. And the reason why I want to do that is I don't want my really nice Winsor Newton anywhere near drying super glue, because that will screw up the bristles of the brush. So if I'm going to screw up a brush, I'm going to screw up a much cheaper brush. And these GW brushes are cheaper, lower quality than the Winsor Newton. So it won't break my heart if this brush gets messed up as a result of the glue vapors in the air binding bristles together. Okay. So, but yeah, lots of chibi done last month. The challenge itself was very fun. Getting the one of the best parts about these painting challenges that War Boss Tay does is he seems to have some incredible timing, because I always happen to be on the verge of a really cool project when we're doing them. So so this time it was all Super Dungeon Explorer Wave 2 Forgotten King, which very few people pledged to have access to immediately. And I was one of those people. I was fortunate enough to be able to pledge at that Dark Console level, so that I could have access to Wave 2 stuff in my Wave 1 shipment. And so what that meant was I had this somewhat exclusive content on my channel of furthermore being able to paint the stuff within the time allotted. So it was kind of a cool little perfect storm of a painting scenario to have for the May painting challenge, and it worked out fantastic. And so that end of the challenge was just a slam dunk. It was great, and I hope that for those of you who are Forgotten King fans or Super Dungeon Explorer fans, that you guys got to at least see some stuff that right now just isn't available to the majority, and you got to see it painted. So anyway, yeah, he's a cool guy. Yes, War Boss Day is a cool guy, very fun, energetic guy, very industrious too. And I was very, very happy to be able to take part in the challenge. So I guess we're supposed to talk about our least favorite part, our best favorite part, and any tips we would have for people who might be interested in participating in a future challenge. So let me think on that a minute while I mix up the next color. So I'm going to let that dry for a second. I'm going to take to this deep skin tone. I'm going to go ahead and add some basic skin tone to that. And I'm going to start to highlight upwards. So starting with my least favorite part of the challenge. Well, my least favorite part of the challenge, honestly, is uploading daily content. Well, no. Not uploading daily content. Let me think here. Least favorite part of the challenge. I mean, the daily content was pretty easy because, you in my case, I just painted stuff during the night when I do my painting sessions. It's usually this time of night. And then just shooting a little, 2 to 3 minute video afterwards, and then hitting upload and going to bed. And then in the morning, knowing that my video will be up and might even have a view or two on it. That part in of itself is not bad. What's challenging is videos and trying to stay stay involved in their projects. There are, naturally there's going to be some projects that you are more invested in than others. And so, is that Minnie a cat girl? Yes, she is. So naturally there are going to be some projects that you're more invested in than other projects. And so, but you want to watch everybody's videos, and so even you may not necessarily be interested in their project per se, but you want to support them. They support you. They're commenting on your videos. They're active participants in your project, and you want to reciprocate that. That can be very difficult to do when you've got a community of say 100 or so active painters and posters. So that can be difficult. The other thing too is, if I'm being completely honest here, I'm not I'm not interested in GW stuff. I'm just not. It was kind of cool to see people painting GW stuff and getting their armies ready and all that stuff. And I'm an ex-GW player, so I've been down that road myself. It's just it's no longer a world or a genre or a franchise I'm interested in. And there's a lot of channels that I want to watch and I want to support because I like to see their project stuff done. But the game system itself is just not interesting to me. So sometimes it just makes it a little harder. Like, in other words, I would watch channels like, say, Paul Alba or Ringo, guys that were doing other stuff other than GW, and I would I'll be honest, I'd get a little more invested in what they're doing because it's just more interesting to me, And there's a lot of really cool guys that are working on cool stuff, like like Tori Ling was working on his Samurai Grey Knights, and I was like, yeah, even though that's a GW project, that's fun. That's a little outside the box, and I wanted to see where he took those, and I think he did a great job on them. There's other stuff like Idic Beer did a Tyranid army with a really cool color scheme, and once again, not really invested in GW, but I thought his color scheme was cool, and I followed along that project. But what I'm saying overall, though, is sometimes it can be hard to try to stay invested in all of these channels and all these projects when you're just not invested in that game or that world anymore. It's one thing to not be invested in something. Let's say somebody was doing, I don't know, muskets and tomahawks, and I've never played muskets and tomahawks. And let's just pretend, even though this is not true, let's pretend for a second that I have no interest in it. Well, I might not be interested in muskets and tomahawks, but I still don't know enough about the world to not be invested in what somebody's posting. I don't know if that made sense or not, but it's almost like, yeah, the idea that this is unfamiliar territory to me makes it more interesting than previously familiar territory. GW, I guess what I'm saying is GW is kind of old news to me, and so it can be hard to stay invested in a majority of channels who are working on GW stuff. And you can still appreciate the work, their paint jobs. You can appreciate the the personalities of the people that are doing the work, and you can appreciate them as artists and fellow hobbyists and all that stuff. But it's just sometimes it's like, okay, this person's working on, I don't know, Space Marines or something, and I'm just gonna throw that out there. And it's like, well, there's sometimes where I'm looking down my list of subscriptions, and it's like, well, I could watch this guy update me on his Space Marines, or I could watch, I could continue this guy's video, who was working on a project that I'm not familiar with. And a lot of times I would do the latter, because it's like, okay, I'm on day 27 for this guy who's working on not GW, and I'm only on 15 for this guy that is working on GW. So I guess, and when I'm saying that this is my least favorite part of the challenge, please understand, this is like the benign freckle on a person that's in a weird spot, as opposed to a cancer or a tumor or something like that. I'm saying this is a very, very, very minor point I'm making here. There's overall, I was very, very happy to see everyone's project. But we're talking about what's best and worst. I'm going to say that's worst. Is just I'd like to see more variety, and that's not a criticism of Warboss Tay or the community. It's actually more of a challenge in terms. I look at it more of a challenge in terms of, hey, can I get some of the other channels that I regularly follow into the Made Painting Challenge, because I want to see some of these other projects get worked on. Dice Miniature Paint Guy did Arcadia Quest while I was doing Super Dungeon Explorer. Not that was cool, because we're both working on chibi board game stuff for the Made Painting Challenge. So that's all I'm saying. More variety doesn't kill anybody. I hate putting all the info about the video, but it has to be done. Oh, you're talking about like putting in the tags and the description and all that. I'll be honest with you, I skipped a bunch of that stuff on some of the videos where it's like I just had to get it up. I just had to put the video up. I'd be like, yeah, I'm not putting any tags on it. Because sometimes I just, it's late at night, I want to go to sleep, and I would just do that. So I do not care what game person likes. I just like minis and the artwork being made. Yeah, and I agree with you. It's just, let me put it to you this way. Like, if you were looking at Space Brains, right? And let's say you had, there were 10 projects that you were following, right? And 9 of them were Space Marines, and they might all be different chapters of Space Marines or whatever. And you might have some really, really cool, really talented, really fun artists behind those projects. But if one of the guys, for me, if one of the guys is painting a miniature range that I've never seen before, I'm going to kind of stick more closely to him. I'm going to watch where he goes with his miniatures and with his projects, because it's stuff that I can't normally see. And I hate to put it that way, but if you look down, I subscribe almost primarily to miniatures channels, and so if you look down my feed, it's there's still an awful lot of GW on there, and it's like, okay, well, I can watch that one later or whatever. I'll put that one off for now, and then the guys that are working on the more, I guess, the more obscure stuff. That's where I'm at. That's what I like. Okay, now I'm going to figure out what I have to do here with her mouth. Let me see if I can get her to. So there's her. You can see that it managed to keep the cat-like face there. There's not enough detail on the mouth itself, so I'm going to have to freehand the mouth. So this should be interesting. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to try to find this color here, Warlord Purple, which is basically Warlock Purple, from the game color range. I'm going to put a drop of that, and then I'm going to take my flesh mixture, drop of water, scoop up some of this flesh mixture, and add that to the purple. That's going to soften up the purple a little bit in terms of its tone. It won't be such a bright color. And then I can use that lipstick. I'm wondering if I should even do like, if I should try to do like eyeshadow or something. Blue Smurfs are different Smurfs. Yeah, sometimes I feel that way, and it's no knock against the artist um, or even the product. It's just, um, the morphology is the same. I'm familiar with the major chapters of Space Marines, and so when someone says, "Hey, I'm working on Blood Angels," okay, so you're going to have a mostly red army, um, and it's cool. Maybe they do something with the red that's really cool, but ultimately, if you put that video up and somebody says, "Hey, I got the new Pulp Minis, the Pulp City miniatures, and I'm going to start painting them," I'm going to watch that other video. That's just personal taste, you know. Okay, so right now, I'm just going to do a little bit of a freehand on that. That doesn't look too bad. See if I can zero in. Do you have a Micron pen? No. Well, actually, I do. I have a black pen here, but I don't use it. I just do stuff like that. Looks pretty good. What do you think? I don't know. That looks pretty good. Fairly cat-like. I don't know. Let's try. I'm going to put a little bit of this pink around the eyes and see if I actually get a little eyeshadow going. That'll be fun. There we go. Just a fun little detail. And I'm only doing right the side and the corner of each eye. And you don't need much at all. You're not going for, you don't want her to look too weird. So yeah. So just doing a little freehand here. Just to give her a little more personality. There we go. Let me zoom in so you guys can see what I'm working on. There we go. I don't know if you can see this on camera, but you might see just a little bit of that purple in the corner there. And that's Kiba-chan. So I'm going to paint in the ears. I also have to decide what color Kiba-chan's hair will be. I am completely open to suggestions. I'm leaning towards a blue. But like I said, if you guys have a good suggestion, I'd give it some thought. So yeah, so let's do just a little bit of. I don't normally plan much on these miniatures, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a blue shirt, and the outfit. It's going to be the shirt's going to be a very cool white. And then I'll decide what the rest of the uniform is. It's usually for Japanese schoolgirls. It's usually anything from like a navy blue to blue, green, brown. Those are all pretty common ones. She is a Doctrine. I'm fielding her as a Doctrine mini, so I might do like a yellow or orange. So I wouldn't rule that out. Okay. So now let's do a final highlight on the skin. Now I'm not going to wash the skin. I want the skin to look have a little more glow to it, be a little more cartoony than I normally do. So this last highlight is basically all basic skin tone. With just a little bit of that deep skin tone mixed in. Okay. And we're just gonna do, looks good, go with a pink cat girls or yellow hair or pink white for mean girls. Oh, I don't know. Mean Girls might be kind of cool. Well, let's paint her outfit, and then we can decide what we're gonna do. I gotta paint stockings too, so that's always interesting. Painting stockings. So I'm just giving her final highlight here. See how I'm sticking towards the top of the cheek. Once again, this is I'm working with a pretty blank slate on the face, so this is a lot of kind of me putting the highlight where it should be, not the sculpt telling me where the highlight should be. You just have to physically pick it and paint it in. It's that's part of the learning curve with these miniatures. Some people hate that aspect because it's just easier if if there's a definite nose there. Much easier to just paint that in than what I'm doing here. Even with the lips, I'm shaping them using the highlight color. Okay. Kiba-chan. Now the Kiba-chan in the artwork actually has a little bit of like the cat has those like cat triangles on her face, like the Garfield triangles, like the pattern. But I'm not going to do that. I want my Kiba-chan is going to look more anime doll, going for more of a porcelain doll look here, because I love that on the Takawashi miniatures. I just love how they all kind of look like porcelain dolls, like anime figs. This would be like a miniaturized version of one of those vinyl figs that people use for anime. And then final highlight here on the buttocks. So yeah, favorite thing about the challenge, I think I mentioned this on my my day 30 video, is watching the emergence of these smaller channels. Getting to know people from some of their for a lot of people that just started up a YouTube channel and took part in the challenge, it was really cool because I love watching the birth of new channels. I love watching people kind of find their voice, find their style and their shtick, and gain some loyalty from me and other people that want to see where they go with their hobby. That want to see that you end up watching the tertiary objectives too. Like we got to see people's hometowns, and you got to hear people encourage other people. That's all awesome stuff. So that was by far my favorite part. And it's always, every year, it's my favorite part with the May Painting Challenge. I always get, it's not about the subs that I get. It's about the subs that I end up, the channels I end up subscribing to. That's way awesome. I'm thinking like purple pink panties. What do you think? Since the purple's already out, might as well. Or black. Let's paint them pink for now, because it's just as easy to come back with, if I decide I want black panties. Okay, so there we go. I love anime. I get most of my paint scheme from different animes. Yeah, a lot of my fellow Soda Pop fans, Ninja Division fans, will tell me that their painted stuff is all derived from different animes, and I've done a few anime nods myself. I don't know if you guys have an anime nod for a cat girl character. Maybe we can explore that. For now, purpley pink panties. Then we'll paint the stockings and actually, I think I should paint the blouse in first because the blouse is another set of layers on this miniature. And I don't know what color the tail will be. I don't know yet. The tail will probably be whatever color the hair is going to be. So anyway, looking pretty good. Let me see if I can actually get the skin to smoothen out a bit. Just going to tighten up my highlighting on that. Mainly just on the one side there. She's looking pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to paint the blouse white because schoolgirl outfit. And most of the time, the anime I've seen, they're white or some kind of very light pastel color. Occasionally they're gray, which is kind of cool. What was that? Which is the one that they have? The anime style is like gray, red, and black are their uniforms. That was pretty cool. I don't know what that is, but that one's pretty cool. Okay. So here we go. So we're going to paint in a white blouse, okay? And I'm going to do a cool white, which means I need to start with a color, either a gray or a blue. And I can do a color like this. This is a Model Air. It's called blue, but it's not that blue. It's actually pretty light. And I think I will use this because I could reach for Azure, but Azure is kind of played out in my repertoire. So I'm going to go with this blue. And this is going to serve as the undercoat. And then really, I'm just going to highlight it up to colors that are very, very close to white, and then possibly at the very end, paint it white. So once again, this is Vallejo Model Air Blue. I think it's a mislabel though, because this is not blue. This is almost like a seafoam green. So I've been collecting these kind of fun, harder to find miniatures, particularly Takahashi University, because I love this range, and I want to I actually want to use these for games of Relic Knight. That's kind of my plan. Is I'm going to use this miniature as a Relic Knights miniature because they fit in so well with Relic Knights here. So they're very fun. It's just like they were meant for it. Granted, I know it's the same company, but the two universes are once again heavily anime themed. So it's no problem. Okay. So just doing the undercoat on the blouse here. All right, so if you're just joining us, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting, what you should be painting. Once again, we're painting Kiba-chan from Takahashi University, and I'm going to be using this model for games of Relic Knights. specifically, I'm going to be using this in a Doctrine Force for you Relic Knights players out there. I had a Doctrine Force this time last year, in fact, and I ended up selling it to another local player, which was cool, except he doesn't play. He gets bogged down with work all too often, so he hasn't played the Doctrine in some time, and that hurts me a little bit. It hurts my heart to see my former miniatures kind of gathering dust. But hey, that's what happens when you sell stuff, right? Okay, looking good. Looking good. All right. So now, Google anime cat girl and look in images. Okay, we can do that. So next, I'm going to take. Now I can take something like pale blue gray and start adding it to that gray, which is a good way to go. I can just add straight white to it. I'm going to add this color, which is what I usually go with, this glacial blue. I'm going to start adding that to the blue, and we're going to just start highlighting up. And the thinner I do this, obviously, the better the transition is. And obviously, the more layers I do, the better the transition is. Now, with white at this scale, it's not that important. There's not a huge, they're not huge areas of transition that I could be capitalizing on here. So it's not that big a deal. But I will still do, I'll still do 3 or 4 layers here of color until I get to white. Cool video. I have to go. Have a good night. Hope to see that mini done sometime. Cool. Yeah, definitely. Since you're going to go, I'm going to just tell you right now what I'm going to do with her. I'm going to mount her on a relic. So here is the Kisa relic. You can see it's like that line there. I painted it a non-metallic gold, and we've got that like electric blue going on with that. And she's going to be the pilot for it. I think it should look pretty cool. So yeah, stay tuned to either the end of this video, or if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you should be able to see where this miniature ends up going. Okay. Anyway, so I'm going to start doing some highlighting of this miniature. We should actually mount her now, because I did the major. So I'm going to stick her on here. That will make her easier to turn around and manipulate, so on. I normally don't mount while I'm doing the face because I need the miniature nice and tight so I can concentrate in on details, but now I'm on the basic painting of the mini, so I can back out a little bit and work a little faster. Okay, so here we go. So yeah, overall, really enjoyed the main painting challenge. I actually pushed myself a little harder than I did last year during the July painting challenge. I think my model count for the July painting challenge was like 160 or something, 170, and I was at 230 this time. So I did push myself a little bit harder. Part of that though is the for SDE you have creeps. Like I had all the squirrels and I had all the rattlebones, and those are very simple paints, and you can knock those out very quickly with an airbrush, and that's what I did. So that's part of the reason why I was able to cover as much ground as I had. So that would explain the volume difference in what I finished between this year and last year. I'm gonna make myself a little pink highlight here. Oh, I got a message. I better check that. That might be the wife. So hang on one sec, guys. Let's have a look. Okay. Okay. That was a text regarding something else, but we're going to keep painting. All right. Just doing a little highlighting on the panties. Dude. There we go. So we're going to do the blouse up to a white, and then we'll move on to stockings. So this is a fun miniature because there's a lot of just fun bits to paint here. Let's go in with some more. I'm going to add a little more glacial blue to my mix. This is my glacial blue is my go-to for cool whites. All right. Okay. And, you know, just painting 101 as you go up in highlight, you're going to go concentrate more towards the top of the miniature, and you're going to paint smaller and smaller areas. You're going to paint top of the miniature, the harder lines, the harder definition. That's what you're trying to capture as you go up in your highlight. So keep it, John. Pretty cool looking. One thing I wish I had a little more time to do more of my stretch goals, because I have a lot of, right now I've got a lot of just fun individuals lying around, and that was kind of like, I had planned it so that, you know, if I finished the May Painting Challenge, the designated SDE stuff early enough, that I would just work on this kind of stuff for the rest of the month. And I did. I got some of it done. I got some Infinity done. Painted a Eldorado miniature, King's miniature. So I spread it out a little bit there on the stretch goals. But, you know, to always be a little more time to do more is not a bad thing to want. So, okay. Look at that. Starting to look more and more white, especially as I start to layer up more color. All right. So she's looking pretty good. She's looking pretty good. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to go, now we're going to start adding actual white to this. In fact, I'm actually going to add more of an off-white to it, because I have more off-white than regular white. I need to actually get to the store and buy some more regular model color white. But this will work just fine until the final highlight. So I'm just going to lighten up that color again with some white. I'm going to add another layer. This is like the 4th or the 5th layer going down. That's pretty common for white when you're painting white. You're just going to have lots of layers. And keeping those layers smooth, keeping those transitions smooth is key to having a good white. It's looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Definitely a cool white. Because of the blue, you can see a little bit of the original blue peeking out there. And I don't think I'm going to go up to a true white. I think I'm just going to stay here. you know, because I can get the color contrast that I'm looking for. I don't need to, I don't think I need to push it, really. That's looking pretty white. And furthermore, it is looking more like a white with good shading and good transitions. And that's all you can hope for with white. Okay, there we go, white blouse. So now it's time to do the stockings. So with the stockings, you usually start with like a black gray or a charcoal gray. Let's see what I have here. I have black gray, which is a pretty safe bet. See if I have anything that might be even a little bit smoother. I know I have like a model color charcoal gray. Let's see what I got here. Smoky ink. This might be interesting. I'm going to try this. So this isn't an ink, it's just called smoky ink. This is interesting. It's an interesting game color. And as long as the liquid isn't too weird, it might work. Let me mix this up and see what the color is. Because this just might work in terms of, you know, those like, this might work as a dark brown stocking. And then what we're going to do is we're going to highlight it into deep skin tone. This might be, I think I may want to go gray. I think I may want to go gray stocking. So let me try to find another color here. But that's not bad. I might try something like that in the future. Just tonight, that doesn't sound like the road I want to go down with this particular mini. Wow. I know I had like an extra opaque, like a charcoal gray. I just have to find it. It's in here. You're in here. Here we go. This color, heavy charcoal. So we're going to do heavy charcoal. I'm going to use that as the base color. And the reason why I'm using this as opposed to black gray is black gray is just a little flat. This is going to be not as flat. So this should actually, might actually be a more convincing looking panty, right? So that's not too bad. Yeah, let's do that. So black pantyhose. Although those Japanese schoolgirl outfits, they will often have brown, the dark brown pantyhose, like that smoky ink. But this also looks quite cool. And if the pink panties end up being too weird, I'll just paint the panties the same color here, this heavy charcoal. This is fun because I'm not under any time constraints to paint this model at all. This is not a commission piece. I'm not in the middle of a challenge, and I'm in no rush to actually field this model. So that means I get to just paint it for fun. It's like that metal Fiammetta that I painted last month. I just wanted to paint something for fun. And specifically that because I'd always really enjoyed the metal Fiammetta sculpt, but I hated putting it together. Such a spindly, fiddly model. that I hated that. So you can see so this is a base coat of the pantyhose. You can see this is actually fairly dark. And then we're just gonna start to blend it with deep skin tone or heavy skin tone until it looks more like pantyhose. Right? I mean, you could leave it black like this, and I don't think anyone's going to complain. But I want my hose to look, I want it to look a little more sheer, because it's just a cooler effect when you have to paint pantyhose. Paint them sheer. Kind of cool. So there we go. Let me let that dry for a second. I'm going to have my drink. Actually, I want to crunch on some cookies real quick. Why not? We're making great progress on the miniature. We're okay. Cookie. Fantastic. Okay. I should probably point this a little bit more towards the model. You can see our current progress. Woo. Come on, focus. Focus. Oh. Almost had it. Focus. Please. Please. No. Anyway. All right. So now I'm going to start adding this heavy skin tone. And the more layers of this you do, the more subtle the effect. And the thinner those layers, the better, right? The first few layers, you're not going to see that effect of the skin tone. It's just going to look like I'm going to a lighter gray. And that's fine. You don't need, in fact, I'm gonna switch to my Winsor Newton 1, because that will help me maintain control and still give me a good delivery of product while I'm doing this. So I'm going to do that. Winsor Newton 1. All right. We're mixing in the very first coat of heavy skin tone. And this highlight's just like any other highlight that you would make on a large smooth surface. You're going to cover this first highlight. I'm going to cover probably a good 80 to 90%. And I'm going to focus in where the light might fall, you know, where the bumps, the higher bumps on the legs, the knees, the broader part of the calf. And just leave a little bit of that darkest black in the crevices. I'm also going to leave it on the top, the top where the stocking is rolled. I'm going to leave it like that. So I'm going for, again, just like the rest of this model, I'm going for that old school, lots of layers, subtle transition. You know, this is classic painting. This is what the type of painting that I did when I first started my channel 3 or 4 years ago or whatever, where it was all pretty much layering. It was all, you know, just basic painting techniques. And it's a good, you know, I like it. It's a good way to paint. I think the difficulty is getting people used to coming through and doing layer after layer. And we just keep stepping it up, a little more heavy skin tone. I used to do this for my Malifaux showgirls. A lot of pantyhose in that crew, and just so much. Those were so much fun to paint. I was looking at a Cassandra metal miniature last night at the LGS, and I was like, man, I just want to buy it because I painted that miniature like 5 times or something, just because I loved it. Love that. It's one of my favorite sculpts in all of miniature gaming. Is that metal Cassandra sculpt from Malifaux, the old one. Love it. All right. So now it's the gray is kind of taking a little bit of a brown tone with it. And time to start highlighting that. And again, you want to go thin because you want your transitions to be nice and smooth. Two layers of this, and you should be able to tell that I'm going for a sheer pantyhose effect. So anyway, part of that follow-up video is they want to know some some advice that I might have to people looking to take part in the challenge in the future. So let's look at those for a second. Advice. What would I tell somebody if they're saying, okay, I want to try the Warboss Tay May Painting Challenge 2016, right? I guess the first thing I would say is, make sure you select a project that you're very, very passionate about. Select something that you are not going to get discouraged from painting, and set a realistic goal. Your goal doesn't have to be, I'm going to paint these 5,000 Skaven by the end of the challenge. The goal can be like, I know that I paint 3 miniatures a week, and so by the end of the challenge, I'm going to try to paint 12 miniatures, right? Because you did the math and you're like, okay, that's a realistic goal for me within the time frame. And I like, I happen to like these Takawashi miniatures. So saying I'm going to paint 12 by the end of the month is a very likable and feasible thing. So you do that. The other thing is, and I think Tori said this on his video, get used to your timing, get used to a routine of I'm going to paint on these days or at these times, and I'm going to record at these times on these days. Like I said, my routine was I start painting at 9 p.m. And I finish around 11:30, right? So a good painting in 2-hour blocks. And frankly, I think that's the sweet spot for those of us who are trying to paint under a schedule. 2-hour increments is about, if you can get it, that's about where you want to be, because that's where you can actually complete models or a model or model. You don't get this. You don't have a weird stopping point. You can just paint and you can enjoy it. So take that for what it's worth. Selecting your project, being excited about your project, setting realistic goals and milestones. Another thing that really helped me is what we're doing right now. Get some accountability. I hate to make it sound like AA or something like that, but yeah, get some people around you that like painting or that are good at encouraging you and good at motivating you. Maybe they're not even painters. Maybe they're guys that you game with that are like, hey, can you just come, you know, can you just come and hang out here in this general area while I build models or while I paint, because having that company will help. It's part of the reason why I turn on the camera here every week, is because if you guys are watching me and if you say, hey, I'm going to paint for 2 hours, I'm going to turn on Play It Painted Live, listen to this guy ramble and see what he paints. The feedback I've gotten is that actually works. And that was the intent of Play It Painted Live, was to give somebody a longer kind of a longer podcast, if you will. It's a vidcast of painting in the same hobby. Leave on while they're painting, and maybe get a little entertainment, or maybe even a little inspiration out of. Almost done with the pantyhose. I want to do one more highlight. I hope this final highlight doesn't take me too far. I don't want to get too far into flesh. It's actually looking pretty good right now. I don't want to look too much. What you don't want to do is you don't want to look too much like skin. You still want to look like you're the stretched part of a piece of pantyhose. Okay. Feels like I can go another couple of colors here, but probably won't. Probably be good with 2 layers of this final shade here. So I'm staying towards the top of the muscles and the top of the miniature, the kneecap, and again, just smaller and smaller areas as I go up in my highlights. That's looking pretty good. I don't know that I want to mess with that anymore. Okay. So for anyone watching, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting, what you should be painting tonight. Just having a little fun with Takawashi University Miniature Kiba-chan. By the way, I bought this Takawashi stuff as part of an online deal for the game Tentacle Bento. Now, the game Tentacle Bento is a card game put out by Soda Pop Miniatures and Ninja Division. And I'll be honest here, it's kind of a controversial game. The game does have a kind of a Japanese hentai theme to it. And it's actually kind of poking fun at that whole genre of anime. That genre does make quite a few people, including myself at times, uncomfortable. Just because, it's kind of culture shock for us over here. We're used to our porn being blatant and out in the open, not animated and, tentacle based. So, yeah, it's not something that we Americans are entirely comfortable with, and probably Japanese as well. Not all Japanese are entirely comfortable with either. But that said, I went ahead and played the game because I wanted to learn it for Anime Expo so that I can help out Ninja Division at their booth. And you know what? I actually liked the game. There's some aspects of the jokes that I thought, well, and I didn't think they were that funny because it's just not that relevant for me. Some people find it offensive, and if you find that game offensive, I don't blame you. But I also support anyone's right to play and enjoy the game as a form of entertainment. It is actually, not to me, to my opinion, it doesn't go anywhere near any kind of crossing any lines or anything like that. It's just a little bit taboo. That's all. So, but yeah, bottom line, I really enjoyed the game more than I thought I would. In fact, it makes sense to me why that game sold well and continues to sell well. But I do think that at some point if the game actually gets more popular, you might see some attempts at censorship or whatever. And I'm very much anti-censorship. I'm not. I wouldn't consider myself to be a very political guy. And I wouldn't call myself a liberal or progressive or conservative or a hardliner or any of that terminology that people bandy about with regards to politics. I'm just a guy that believes in a very simple concept of freedom and defending freedom. That's really all I come from. If that makes me end up on the right on certain topics, then I end up on the right on certain topics. If I end up on the left on certain topics, then I end up on the left. It's just kind of the way it's going to be. So, okay, so pantyhose are done. And so now we need to do the skirt. So now is the moment of truth. We got to decide what color should the skirt be. And I've been thinking about it, and blue is probably what I want to do here. Blue or even pink, but I already have pink panties. So I think if I did blue as the skirt, or even yellow, I could well, blue is probably better. Blue is a nice contrast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this medium blue. And we're going to take it up a couple and it's going to be pretty simple though. I want to keep the blue pretty simple because there's already so much on this miniature. I could go with a dark gray, but that's okay. We're going to go with blue. Well, blue really isn't much of it's not much of a traditional Japanese color, is it? The brown is actually a little bit more their speed. Kind of I think I've seen that brown before. I don't know. Screw it, blue. Blue it is. Blue wins. So I'm going to do blue. Or should I do blue hair? Man, I just cannot decide, can I? I can do blonde hair. I'll do blonde hair. Why not? Or even orange hair. I could do like red hair. I don't know. I really don't. I'm just... Kiba-chan has pink hair on the studio art, but I don't know. The red hair would actually give me a fun contrast, as would blonde. But if I do blonde, I think I'm going to have to paint the tail black because the blonde tail is not going to show up at all. Could do green hair, or again purple hair, which I'm not diametrically opposed to purple hair. That might be where I end up going with the hair. It would probably pop pretty well too, with the kind of like Candy and Cola. Candy's got that pink cotton candy colored hair. I could do white too, like Demon Jester was saying. And I also think I'm going to paint the tail black pretty much no matter what. So maybe I will do blonde. Maybe we'll do like a blonde kitty. Even though I know most of the anime kitties, I actually can't even think of an anime kitty that's blonde. Like a cat lady. Well, I think the one in Rosario plus Vampire, the teacher, she was like a cat lady and she had blondish hair. So I guess maybe that one. Not too bad though. I'll touch up right there. And that blue skirt, I don't really see the need to do much with it. I'm actually pretty happy with it just being blue like that. I may do a quick highlight on it, but otherwise, don't really see a whole lot to do with it. I'm gonna paint the little tie-in. So our tie will be blue. She does look sufficiently schoolgirl-ish to me. The one issue with the blue that I'm seeing is it's actually making her white blouse look more blue. And I'm not getting the desired deception I want there. I want people to believe that the blouse is white, even though it's more like a blue-green. That's pretty cool looking. Okay, and like I said, I'm gonna paint the tail kind of a dark gray / black color. So we'll do that. I don't know. I guess I may have to do the shoes in a pink also to help unify the model a little bit more, because pink panties alone is just a little weird. This is the guy painting a cat lady. The guy painting a cat lady just said that pink panties is weird. Well, pink panties without anything matching it. Right? It's got to be something on the outfit, even if it's the hair or the shoes that matches that pink. Okay. So let's paint in a little pink on the shoes. She's moving along pretty quickly now. Pretty soon here, I'm going to put her on the larger model, and then we'll finish her after she's in place on the larger model. All right, so right now I'm just painting the top of her feet, knowing that I'm going to rip her off of this base shortly, put her on the relic, and then finish painting her. So I will be coming back with this purple to do that. Okay, so what's ahead in store for us? Because I mean, right now my life is in a bit of turbulence. There's a lot going on at work. This is kind of peak season for us at work for my particular part of the operation. So that's keeping me very, very busy. I'm going to be doing some travel here in a couple of weeks. I've got Geek Meet happening this Sunday at the Slide Bar in Fullerton. That's a fun time. I'll probably just bring Super Dungeon and maybe a couple of card games, and we'll hang out and play some games and have a beer or two. So there's that. That's always fun. But yeah, there's just a lot going on right now, and so the painting stuff is great. I'm glad I was able to keep up with the May painting challenge, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to be able to sustain here in the next couple of weeks. I also have Comic-Con and Anime Expo right around the corner. And you know what? Since we're in the middle pretty much of this video, let me take this moment to gripe about Comic-Con for a minute. So yeah. So yes, I've been working Comic-Con for the past 4 years as a gaming volunteer. Started with Malifaux over there, and we were very well received at San Diego Comic-Con for running Malifaux, and the game took off, and people were happy. Dropped out of Malifaux a year later. Started running, and we had a year that we had one show that was just horrible. It was terrible. It was not a good show. Not something I was proud of. Had some turmoil within the team. Had some even external factors that were people that were criticizing us for quitting Malifaux. So that we didn't have a good year that year. Last year was a fantastic year. Starting in with Ninja, Relic Knights is becoming a thing. It was just starting to show up on people's doorsteps. Had a team that I'm still very, very proud of. That was I think that was the all-star team of the convention teams in the history of Play It Painted. That was the best team. I actually got to walk around and enjoy the show in full confidence that the people on that team were going to do what they said they were going to do, and they had integrity. They had self-respect. They and they were trustworthy, and they were fantastic people, great personalities, whatever, right? Anyway, so yeah, I've got a history with Comic-Con. Always enjoyed working that show. I'm not really sure why, because it's a logistic nightmare. The show itself is usually pretty light compared to, WonderCon, Anime Expo, some of the cons where we see crazy traffic. Comic-Con sees traffic, but it doesn't see traffic as much as some of these other shows do, believe it or not. And granted, I know Comic-Con is a much larger show than any other show I attend, but the gaming isn't as big a deal. People go to Comic-Con for very different reasons. Gaming is one of the more minor reasons why somebody might go to Comic-Con. It's just cheaper to game, to get your gaming in more readily available than banking on, getting into Comic-Con for gaming. I don't think anyone goes to Comic-Con just for the gaming. Other than me, I go to host gaming, but I don't count that. That's just my weirdness and my hobby, I guess, on that side. All right. So anyways, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting, what you should be painting. Again, we're working on Kiba-chan from Takahashi University. I'm just giving her some highlights here and there. She's actually moving along quite well. Okay. Not too bad, right? Okay. So now I still kind of want to do pink hair. It would really unify the model a bit more if I did pink hair, or even if I did like blue-gray hair, it would be better. Or even black hair. Black hair is not a bad thought. Not a bad thought at all. Or red hair. I don't know. I don't have a... What do you guys think? Cannot decide here. I think blonde might just... Well, if I did a really, really yellow blonde, it would work. And you know, the good thing about doing a really, really yellow blonde is if I don't like it, can always fix it. Okay, so I'm going to come in with Model Air medium yellow. So I'm just going to go super, super bright. Screw it. This is what we do. This is anime. So go big, go bright, go bold. All right. Let's go ahead and do that. Gotta start painting the cipher. This is fun. I'm going to give it this yellow tone. It's okay. It's just, I don't know. Is the blonde drowned out? Or is it popping? What do you guys think? Drowned out or popping? Actually, I'm doing this blonde and I'm thinking, man, I'm glad I didn't do black. Black would have been really bad. But it's better to pick something lighter because you always have the option. Like I can always go back, can look at this and go, oh no, I want her to have purple hair. And I can just do the purple hair. If I did purple hair and decided I want blonde hair, then I would have some issues because it's harder to go the other direction. Okay, now she's starting to look really, really anime, that's exactly what I wanted. So she's really starting to look more like, almost like Sailor Moon type miniature, which is fantastic. That's exactly what I wanted. I don't know if I'm going to wash her, give her a hair wash or not. Because it's looking really good right now. I don't know that I want to screw it up. I could give her just the slightest bit of like an orange wash. And then re-highlight up to yellow. I don't know. All right. Pretty good. Pretty good. Let me see if I can get this to focus. Once again, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting or what you should be painting. Here's our Kiba-chan. She does look rather cat-like, doesn't she? Especially with her like big almond eyes and that kind of stuff. She's looking quite anime, I think. I think she's looking pretty fun. Okay, so now let me let her dry for just a second. And then I'm going to pan up a little bit and show you this. So here's her ride, as it were. And I got a little hole right there. That's where the pin's going to go, right in there. And so she's going to be leaning forward on this. So on the side, it's going to look like the cat's jumping and she's sort of arching forward with the cat, which I hope looks really cool. So let me get a sip of this. Oh, shoot. And I still have to paint this dude. In fact, while I'm waiting, let me do a couple of... I'm going to do that yellow in here because I've got kind of like a Eldorado type base going on with these. So I'm going to paint like a faker lava base in here so that it matches the night space. Okay. And I can, that's too dark. All right, let that dry for a minute. Well, actually, let's do nope. I'm gonna paint the earth beneath scratch here. It's a real simple, just leather brown. You can highlight it up. It really, it's gonna see some of the highlight from the orange on the lava anyway. I guess one of the main questions is going to be, what color am I making this cat? Should he still be a black cat? I'm okay with him still being a black cat. I just need to paint in a couple of things. I'm going to paint in the cloak and paint in the ankh. So let's paint in the ankh. Yeah, I think he will be a black cat. And so his outfit will be different, but you can still tell that he is still in fact Scratch from Relic Knights. Nice. Okay, so let's let that dry. And let's oh so carefully try to pop her off of this. Oh, wow. Okay. The whole thing popped off. That's hilarious. Okay. And I've got to just kind of peel the cork off of the bottom of her shoe here. And then I will have to do a little cleanup and repaint on that. Not the end of the world. I'd expected to have to do that. All right. Take a just going to pull off big chunks with the triangle clippers. Okay. That's pretty good. All right. So now let's go ahead and mount the pilot on. And so I'm going to do a dry fitting real quick. And she's going to go like that. Okay, so I need glue in a couple places. I need glue on the palms of the hands and the basically the front parts of the feet. Okay, so let's do that. Once again, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting, what you should be painting. I'm in the middle of painting Kiba-chan from Relic Knights. Kiba-chan is, I mean, not from Relic Knights, Washi University, but I am using her as a Relic Knights proxy. It's actually not even a proxy, it's just part. I'm replacing a part of a Relic Knights miniature with her. So the old Kisa Rider is being replaced with this miniature. Okay. So I'm trying to keep the super glue down to an absolute minimum so that I don't have to run the risk of ruining paintbrushes to get this model to stay on and paint. And I'm going to have to paint repair. Okay, that's not too bad. not too bad. Okay. So we'll see how that, she should be able to stay on board like that pretty well. I'm gonna do a little repair here. Use the GW brushes for the repairs. So I don't want to ruin good brushes on these repairs. By the way, this GW shader brush is part synthetic, so the tip is starting to curl, and I'm not very happy about that. But the scale of painting it's for, it's not the end of the world. You can still use it. Okay, there we go. Let me actually back up so you guys can see this while it's drying down. See? And I'll take some stills of it. So let's let that dry for a minute. Let's paint this guy right here. This little troublemaker right here. I'm gonna put some orange down and finish up the base work. So a mix of the yellow and the orange as just a transition point. There we go. And this is just gonna actually use it to highlight edges there. Oh, well, some of the sand just came off. It's okay. Whoa. It's a very simple mini to paint. Not a whole lot to scratch here. Okay, so then let me get some yellow ochre. I'm going to paint the little ankh around his chest. And then paint the cat in black gray. And that's most of all I need to do here on this guy. There we go. Okay. Before that happens, let me do a little medium blue. Paint the cloak. Oh, and I need to do this too. And paint the inside of the ears, kind of this pink color. Like that. Doesn't have to be a fancy thing. A teeny tiny little model. Okay, so let's paint the cloak in. I could do like a white scratch. But I don't know. Black scratch is fine. Okay. Let me give myself a little shade in the basing. all this. There we go. A little bit more orange in there. Just make it look a little more lava-like. Yeah, I'm not even really making this lava-like as much as it's just sort of heated rock, you know, which I understand that is lava, but I don't know what I'm saying. I hope you understand what I'm saying. It's not lava and that there's something flowing down there. It's just hot rock. How about that? Are you happy? Good. Okay, so now I'm not going to use this for him. I'm going to use something a little bit lighter. Therefore, actually, this is not bad. I might use this intermediate blue here and disguise it as black so that I end up getting something that's a little bit lighter than black. But it's a little bit easier to shade and highlight, right? That's the theory anyway. We'll see how it actually pans out. I forgot to paint a little pink nose, but that's okay. So quiet. Me painting challenge. The painting challenges are always fun. We're just always like right after you hit this kind of low energy state. For me, it's not that low energy. I'm still painting and still doing a fair bit of regular gaming, but I still feel that energy is kind of low now. But I think that's more coincidental to, like I said, what's going on at work and Comic-Con woes. Yeah, Comic-Con, man, they looks like they're going to be putting us in the Hyatt this year, which is something they had discussed for the past 3 years, maybe moving open gaming over to the Hyatt. And that sucks. But it looks like it's going to happen this year, which means we don't get the traffic from the convention floor, which is 150,000 people. We don't get that walking over to the Hyatt. The Hyatt's actually a fair bit of even though it's right next, quote unquote, next to the convention center. That's a long next to. It's a pretty long. It's more like 2 blocks or more between the Hyatt and the convention center, and that also means that people that want to that are in that gaming area know about that gaming area. I mean, how many people walk around Comic-Con and go, you know what we should do? We should go to the Hyatt, because that's a bit of a walk. And so in terms of being an ambassador for games, being a what's the word? An evangelist for games, as Robert Allen likes to put it. I'm not going to get that. I'm not going to get much of that opportunity this year. It kind of does take it. It took the wind out of my sails when they were like, "Yeah, it looks like we're going to be in the Hyatt this year," because not only does that mean our traffic goes down to next to nothing, logistics get screwed up too. Simple things like the fact that the bus from my hotel drops me off on the exact opposite side of the convention center than the Hyatt means that I'm in for a very, very long walk if I want to take the bus to and from the hotel, which is a nice thing to be able to do. But during Comic-Con, but and again, we were able to do that when the gaming was in the convention center, but now no longer an option. So that kind of bums me out. Anyway, I'm going to stop griping about it. I mean, just the fact that I get to go to Comic-Con and not have to buy tickets, which isn't about the money. It's more about the, having to get up early in the morning and then like hope against hope that you get your tickets, because there's such fierce competition between people to get tickets. That's the part that kind of blows. Anyway, Kitty is just about done. Let's do a wash on our pilot's hair here. I mean, she's almost done. She's looking pretty good, which is perfect because this is, we're almost at that time in the show where we're going to be shutting down here. But yeah, she looks great. I'm going to put this wash in her hair and then may or may not come back and highlight, because that actually looks pretty cool. I don't know that I need to. I think that basically hit the hair exactly how I wanted it to. I mean, if anything, maybe I just do a little bit of white on the blouse. I don't really see much need to. Well, I think I will, though. I think I will do a little white on the blouse. Looking pretty good, though. Everything is looking pretty good. I may do a little yellow ink on Scratch's eyes so that he has more cat-like eyes. In fact, let's go ahead and do that right now. So we're just about ready to finish this project up. Yellow ink. Gotta find my yellow ink. There we go, yellow ink. There we go. Kind of, I may need a better tip than this GW brush, but maybe not. Maybe I can get that to just sit right where I want it to. Nope, too much. Stupid GW brush. And stupid me for trusting that I had that great of a control when I don't. There we go. Okay. Simplest paint job ever on the cat. Okay, so there's that. Let's actually, like I was saying, got to do some repairs on the shoes. Most importantly, little pink shoes. All right. Now all I need is a little bit of white. Oh wait, let's use this yellow ochre here to highlight the little rings around her tail. There we go. Okay, now all I need to do is I'm going to take some actual white, some actual white, do a couple highlights on the blouse, and that will pretty much put us at our 2-hour mark. And I'll paint the black lips on the bases, and we're done. Nice quick project. I did the relic last night, and it's almost entirely airbrush, as you can see. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun painting this. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to a good brush, a Winsor Newton brush. And I'm gonna do a couple things. I'm gonna paint in little shoelaces on her sneakers. And that's quickly done. Just 3 little dabs. Pink, pink. There we go. Okay, and now I can do the final white highlight on the blouse to make sure it looks white. I'm just going thin coat of white here across the top of the shoulder, in here, and there. Oh shoot, I need to get in with the sepia. Looks like I missed a spot. There we go. Yeah, give me some sepia. Give me some sepia. There we go. So now, I don't know. I still think I still need to do, I want to do a highlight of yellow. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. So let me just tease a little bit of a highlight of yellow. Ah! Since my Kiba-chan is blonde. Do you guys have any other comments or anything, or you have any remarks based on what I rambled about tonight? Let me know. You know, I always appreciate feedback about the channel or these feeds that I do. It is important for me to know that the people that do watch these are getting what they want, and so you know, if it's helping you finish projects, fantastic. If there's something I can do without killing myself, that's going to help you enjoy the feed, let me know. Let me know what it might be. Maybe if you want me to discuss a certain topic, or if you want me to cover something in painting or gaming that you think I could actually contribute to. So that's going to be a very short list, but you know, let me know too. What are some things that I could be rambling about that you'd want to hear me rambling about? Another cool part of the May Painting Challenge, by the way, the daily questions. I liked it this year. The daily questions weren't so GW focused, and I was able to answer every last one of them. That was cool. Narrative was also really cool, but it's a double-edged sword because it's now more stuff that I still need to do in order to completely wrap up the May Painting Challenge So, but yeah, what do you think? This is her. I'll take stills of it, and you guys can let me know what you think about her. Maybe I need a final highlight on the skirt too. Such a fun model. All right, I need a little bit of pink. I'm going to do a quick highlight on the shoes. And I just decided I'm doing all these just little extra little bits. Just extra little bits to give the model, just the amount of attention I think she deserves. She's a very, very fun model. And this is a fun little conversion. That's cool. That is quite cool. She definitely looks very, very anime on top of her anime lion thing. All right, so now let's put this away and let's go with our black on the lip of the base. And that's all she wrote, guys. That's all we have to do. That's the wrong black. That's all we have to do tonight. Let this stuff dry. Snap a couple of photos of it. Put it on my Facebook and or Instagram, whatever you want to, whatever we feel like doing. Call it a night. It's good to be able to finish these little projects in a couple hours. I mean, all I really did was paint the rider tonight and paint the little cat. But I don't think we count the cat. It's just not enough to paint on that miniature. But anyway, I gotta paint some more Takawashi. I'm really right now. I'm really enjoying painting Takawashi and Infinity. Infinity's super fun right now to paint. The new models for Infinity are looking cool, but I find myself wanting the more cartoony anime themes as well. So even though I got rid of my Doctrine box or my Doctrine Force from last year, I'm gonna paint this other Kisa and convert it and have fun with that because that's awesome. Is there anything else to add here? Not really. Just painting in the black. The one thing I'll say is that there might be a little too much going on the lion side. So the lion looks a little grittier, a little earthier, and may not be the best match for the rider. But it is what it is, and I think it looks cool. So putting together Takawashi miniatures is terrible, because they're the old soda pop miniatures, minus the ones that are fewer pieces, but the old soda pop miniatures, specifically like old Fiametta and the metal Squall. Oh man, those are rough. It's a rough night ahead when you have to put stuff like that together. And frankly, I think those models are awesome, though. That's why I have a metal Fiametta, and I may actually pick up a metal Squall just to paint. But anyway, that's gonna do it, man. We're at the end of the line here. We finished the models. It's now 2 hours into the broadcast, so I think we are content to shut down here, unless one of you guys decides that you want to post a comment about what that would get me in some sort of rambling mood. That said, I still think I would sign off because I have nothing left to paint, even if I had lots to ramble on about. So let's put this away here. Let's we'll get rid of all this stuff. Let these two dry in peace. And with that, I think we're going to call it. Once again, want to thank everybody for watching. Thanks for chiming in, Demon Jester J. Hope everything is going well with you. And once again, I'll take some photos. The base is still drying, so I can't really show you too much on that front. But here. See if I can see if it will. There you go. You can see it. There you go. Pretty cool. So we'll let that dry. And then I'll take pictures of it. And that'll be it. So anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I want to thank you guys for watching. And we'll catch you on the next one.